Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. How's everybody doing today?
Good.
We lost Cece. Let's see. Oh, he's back. There he is.
Hey,
Yeah.
FYI, Metal, you might have some googly eyes on your glasses there from your lights.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you very
all good.
much. How's that? Better?
Yeah, that's good.
I have to. It's funny because I have to like angle them. Otherwise, I can't read the screen and I don't know what to say.
I just remember last time that happened, you were like, "Why didn't anybody tell me I had googly eyes?"
Oh yeah. It was like this the whole time. Yeah.
We definitely got told off for not saying anything.
Well, but no. Somebody said something and they were making fun of me and Jen. Oh goodness. Well, the day has arrived here for us to kick off this announcement as we prepare for our 90 days to BASED Axion. It has been quite the journey to get here, guys. It really has. I meant to go in and find out when our first vote went up. I think it was back in September, maybe. And if you would have told me it was going to take this long back then, I might have gotten discouraged and given up. But no, it's been a very organic process, a methodical process. We've been very pragmatic in how we approach everything. We've had conversations after conversations. We've looked at the data. We've done spreadsheets. We've got price impact spreadsheets for when we launch. We've got, just about everything you can imagine we need to make sure that when we do this, I mean, we've only got one shot to do this, guys. So we need to make it. We need to make sure it's done well, done right, and that it has some lasting impact. So it's great to be here. We've got Big Bear with us. Big Bear's been with the project pretty much from day one, and he's at one time was on the whales. Why don't you kind of give just a really brief, quick overview of your history with us so far?
Well, back in the day before Axion was actually named Axion, May 31st, 2020. A Discord group that I was part of, somebody came and posted that they found this thing called Hex2T on 4chan, and well, let's just say the degen inside of me couldn't help myself. So yeah, I was a day one, basically. Probably the project was literally maybe a few hours old. People were able to go and buy billions of tokens for a couple $100. It was kind of ridiculously stupid. None of us had any idea as to what was going to happen. Obviously, it was degening at speculatory degenerate behavior. But yeah, it was an exciting time. The market was sort of the entire market, crypto wise, was sort of just starting to heat up.
Yeah.
Of that year, and everything just kind of started to fall into place. The community blew up. The Discord blew up. I mean, we had, and it was just a really fun environment to be part of. And as much chaos as there was that was going on in the background, it was a good time. There was a lot of other projects that were launching, doing launch pads, and I was able to be part of some of that. And yeah, I mean, the Axion journey, I believe in the ecosystem. It's been a bumpy road. We obviously had some trials and tribulations at the outset, especially once we branded into Axion and we went for the launch. We had some nefarious stuff go on with the deployer, but we got through it. We got together as a community. We provided the liquidity to relaunch the token and relaunch the project. And we went from many zeros to 0007. And a lot of people made a lot of money, and a lot of people probably lost some money. Anybody that bought the top. And unfortunately, that's just crypto. That's markets. That's investing in general. And But I've remained steadfast to the project. You know, when you stepped in, Metal, and sort of took on the role of the keeper of the project, you know, this entire community owes a debt of gratitude to you, because without your gumption and without your perseverance, we wouldn't be here on this day discussing all of this. So I'm just excited to see where it's going to go. I mean, like James said, there's been a lot of discussions going on. It's taken a long time, but like he said, we've got one shot to do this the right way, and we're going to make sure that all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted, and we're not going to leave any stone unturned. We want to develop out this ecosystem unlike anything has been done before. There's some really exciting things that we can't talk about yet, but can't wait until we can sort of let the cat out of the bag and let everybody in on all the exciting things we have coming up down the road. Delhi's been a beast in the background. He's got some front end stuff done for a UI. It looks amazing. And you know, he's hard at work coding up the new contracts and getting us ready for our launch in 90 days. So yeah.
Well, you know who else is going to be dotting I's and crossing T's, right?
Oh, do tell.
The state of Utah.
That's true. Yes.
Yeah, and we'll go over that in a little bit, but yeah, our contracts are actually going to be submitted with our application to be recognized as a DAO. And so the state of Utah will be, I can't use the word audited yet, but our contracts will be a part of our application process. And they do have devs that will be going over everything to make sure that those contracts pay homage to the intent of the DAO, to the bylaws, to the articles of incorporation, all of these different things. So it's really a unique time. We are launching this in partnership with Utah legislators who paved the way for it to be possible for us to actually register the DAO as a DAO, and then have an actual entity that can grow and provide benefits to the members of the DAO. And conform to U.S. law. So this is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Dave's been with us now for quite a while. I would say not quite a year, but Dave's on our advisor, on our, what are we calling it? The Mastermind Council, along with Crypto Casino. And Big Bear is kind of the liaison between Core Team and the council, which is smaller than we want it right now, people. We have an application process. I've reached out to a couple of the applicants and haven't heard back. But we really want to grow the advisory council. And so look for links. We'll provide links in the bottom of this presentation after we're done. But we do have some links in the announcement section on Discord. So we highly, and I think there's an article with links to it too. So it is possible to find the application. We are going to make it a lot easier though here coming up. And then so Dave's been with us for at minimum 6 months, probably more like 8 or 9. And I've been doing the This Is Not a Shill X Space with Dave now for almost 2 years, I think. I mean, does that sound right?
Time flies.
It's getting close. It's getting close. And you know, I worked closely with some of the stuff with Warp and Axion, you know, 3 years ago. We put a lot of work in 3 years ago for a March Madness type tournament. So you know, on and off, I've been aware of and working alongside with in community kind of outreach with Axion for pretty much probably 2 years specifically, Metal, from when we first sort of met. And yeah, then before then I was definitely aware, and I definitely supported some of the promotional activities and the community engagement that was happening on the front end from Axion and Wharf at the time. So yeah, it's been exciting to watch the growth, and I think the thing for me is like every crypto project needs a good beard, right? And that's what I think I like to bring to this project. But no, jokes aside, I think the opportunity to take this and have it as a genuine vehicle to bring people, like to bring traditional kind of methods of finance into the crypto space with like sort of regulated understanding, support, structure, etc., is massively exciting, and I'm thrilled to be a part of that process, and that you guys appreciate my insight. So thank you for having me, and I'm here for the journey.
We are lucky to have your insight, and your thought leadership is exceptional. I mean, it's really why I approached you with being a part of the team, because I know your values align with those values that we're trying to really kind of emphasize and develop, and really develop in a way that will be embraced, by more. I think a lot of people, when they get involved in crypto and they hear all of the magic words and all of the, inspiring words, and this is going to make the world a better place, and this is going to bring us all together, and this is, all of this stuff, they believe that at one time, but then, everything kind of fell apart. I mean, we had one of the longest bear markets we've ever endured. And so there's a lot of people that are a little disillusioned in all of that. But I've never let that disillusion me, because, if anything, if life has taught me anything, it's that if you believe in something and you want something, and you want to create something, and you want to develop something that has value, it just takes time and effort, and a willingness to put up with, whatever obstacles you might run into. So you have that fortitude and that stick-to-itiveness, and so I'm excited, and I'm honored to be able to call you my friend, and I'm honored to have you to be a part of the Axion journey here. So kudos and appreciated. And then, of course, oh, did we lose Big Bear?
I think he's just popped off screen for a moment.
Crypto Casino. Everybody knows Crypto Casino. Are you able to chat, bud?
Yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, a bit like Big Bear, to be honest, guys. In case some of you don't know, but I got into Axion, I think, about 2 weeks into the project. So it was at the Hex 2T days, and a bit like Big Bear, D-Gen, just put money in at the beginning. Believed in the project, went through the massive act that we had where it dropped to zero, and then that was crazy. The community back then just all banded together, and we just went through it all back in, and we was back there, Moving to base, I think it's probably one of the best moves ever. A lot of you guys will know some of the other projects I'm in that are on base, solely on base. I'm a convert to base, put it that way. So, and I really do think this is a good move for Axion in the way we're going. And some of the stuff that Metal T-Deli's working on, guys, they've worked their backsides off for the last year. And for what's coming, I'm super excited. So the 90 days to base, that would go quick. So super duper excited.
Yeah. This 90 days is going to be faster than the last 6 months. Well, because it's only 90 days. I think you know what I mean. No. This 90 days is going to be. It's like you hear yourself as the words. Big Bear's back. He lost his connection, and I'm getting a feedback. No, there's a feedback loop. Stop. But I was getting a feedback loop for a second. Well, guys, let's go ahead and dig into this. What I want to do, and maybe do a timestamp. If someone, maybe Dave, if you got a pen and paper, or make a mental note. I need to timestamp this, because this is actually where we're going to start talking about the information. And as I talk about different stuff, if you're able to timestamp it ahead of time for me, that would be awesome. So I don't have to go back through it. But so we're going to go ahead and lay out this roadmap for a lot of people who have been following us from the very beginning. This is not going to be a whole lot of new information. There are going to be some very specific things that are going to be new information or clarified information. But for the most part, if you've been following us since the beginning, really no big surprises. And then this is part one of a two-part presentation. So we're going to come back next week and we are going to do part two of this. Today, we're going to be talking about the technical side of things. And then next week, we're going to talk about some of the promotions and some of the ways we're going to get the word out, work with Base, work with Uniswap, all of these things. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and just dive through this. Hopefully I don't go too fast. Guys, if I'm going too fast, just say, hey, Mel, slow down. But I want to get this out relatively quick so that anybody watching in a short period of time can really get a good feel and a good energy of what we're doing and how we're going to go forward. And then next week, we'll be talking about some of those promo stuff. So as I said, this is part one. We're going to be covering our migration process, the claiming process, contracts and tokenomics, the staking protocol, and then DAO ownership versus membership, which we're not going to get too deep into here. I'm actually going to probably put out an article on this as well, but we may get into this a little bit more next week as well. Just depends on what kind of time we have. So let's go ahead and move forward. So the Axion DAO is basically going to be a social enterprise cooperative. It's going to be governed by legislation out of the state of Utah. We are filing with the state of Utah. They are going to be reviewing our application, our bylaws, our articles, our contracts. These are all going to be submitted to the state of Utah for approval. And once it's approved, the DAO will be legally recognized. And so we can function as a DAO both online and in the real world. And that will be governed by our mastermind council, the team, and ultimately the community. And we've said this before, but I'll kind of reiterate it. The team now is basically answers to the mastermind council. So anything we do, we run that through the mastermind council. We just don't arbitrarily decide this is what we're going to do without having those conversations. And then if it's deemed that it needs to be brought up to the community, if it's, outside of the scope that what everybody expects, then we will put it up for DAO votes. So any changes, anything that we're looking to pursue that exceeds a certain level will go up for a DAO vote. And I want everybody to think about that for a while. This is social. If you don't know what a social enterprise is, it's like a nonprofit, but it's actually for profit. And the revenue of that cooperative, or the revenue of the enterprise, which is going to be managed as a cooperative, the excess revenue, the profits of the company go back into the DAO. So I don't get paid extra because I bring in a lot of money, unless someone decides they want to give me more money and they vote for it. But anyway, the point being, the team only gets what the team is offered as far as compensation. And even if Axion DAO generates $1 million this year, we still get our pay. So those proceeds and those profits go back into the DAO. All right, so we're going to begin our countdown next Thursday on April 10th. Why aren't we starting it today? Because we don't want to launch the new DApp on July 3rd, the day before the 4th of July, when our heads are nowhere near doing this. So the relaunch will be July 10th. And then next week, so we will have another kind of kickoff live stream next week as we actually start that countdown, and we talk about some of the promotions we're doing and some of the things we're going to be doing to bring value to the project. The Bitcoin reward contract closes on April 7th. It actually, per the vote and everything else, it actually would have ended on March 22nd. but we were so busy doing everything else, we didn't even think about that. So we've decided just to extend it a little bit. You have until April 7th now to withdraw those funds, and then we will be closing that contract out. We will be moving those funds into our various wallets, which we will kind of go over here, and then we will start building, or we've already started building. So, but then we can really start building, looking at partnerships, looking at outside investments and so forth. The Collider NFTs on Polygon will not be claimable on Base. So if you have Collider NFTs, knock yourself out. Go out there and start punching them out. We will have colliders on Base, but we're not going to transfer the colliders here. And then, so all of our other NFTs do have a purpose that we'll be going over at various points, but some of them will stay on Polygon, and they will be gatekeepers to roles and access to certain things through our social media channels and through other promotions. And there will be a few of them that we will actually migrate through a claim process to Base. This is going to be the legal framework in our partnerships. So the registration of our DAO is underway. We've already started the process. We've already done a few of the base filings here in the state of Utah. You can actually search up Axion DAO now in the state of Utah. It will show up as an LLC because it's more of a placeholder or a name holder until it gets wrapped into the DAO. And we've filed our intent to declare Axion as a DAO. These are done by paper filing. There's nothing, you can't do this electronically. So this is all done with paper applications, paper filings. We've got to compile all the documents, and then we're going to have to send a big manila envelope to the state of Utah for them to review. Excuse me. Our attorney is Robert Lamb. He is actually the author of the DAO legislation that was passed in 2023, ratified, and then implemented in the beginning of 2024. And I found out about it about 6 months later, pursued it, researched it, and got very excited. It wasn't really until it was about the time that I found that DAO legislation paperwork that we were starting to get serious about. We were originally just going to file it as a cooperative. But when I found that we had actual DAO legislation, I ran with that. I think it is the best way to go. And I think in a lot of respects, we're going to be setting some history here. And it's really kind of exciting time. So we are adopting that DAO Act framework. And as far as partnerships, I have already spoken with 3 key leaders in 3 different key areas in business development, Discord, and community onboarding and engagement that we will be working with. And as they see us make our progress, what we're hoping is by the time we get to about 30 days to where we're counting down, we will actually have them participating in this process with us. And then we're also developing we're kind of retooling our community partners program, and we're expanding that outreach. Rebuild, relaunch, and reintroduce. So we are building right now. We've been building. We have AxionDAO.com. That will be our new primary website. There's a countdown on it now that actually counts down to the date and time that we expect to relaunch. Axion.network will still continue to host our DApp. And yeah, Deli's got a brand new interface, and it took me a little time to when you see something that's so drastic and so different, at first your first response is like no. but I have to say it has grown on me to the fact I'm really kind of getting excited. And it's going to come with this really awesome theming mod that will allow you to dress the site, dress the DApp with colors that match your personality and elements, backgrounds, and so forth that you can play with. So that's kind of cool. So 10 days before we move to base, we will do a snapshot countdown. So we're going to be doing a countdown to where we snapshot everything on Polygon, and then we shut it down. And at that time, we will pause the contracts, we will remove the liquidity, and we will relaunch on base. And we may do that like we did it when we moved from Ethereum to Polygon, where we'll just be doing a nice long hangout while we watch Travis do all the back end work. So next week, we will be introducing you to our founders NFTs concept and our partnership campaign. And they're specifically and ultimately designed to drive new membership to Axion. And so we will present that in more detail next week. As far as our contracts and tokenomics, we will have a new max supply of 250 million. We are going to have a reverse split. So we can come well under that new max supply and then actually create that tokenomics foundation around the new DAO structure. And the majority of these tokens will be minted on demand. So there will be a claim pool, which people will be minting their tokens from when they claim their stakes and their liquid from Polygon. There will be a reward contract pool and an accelerator contract. And those are going to be the three key token minting contracts. We will pre-mint a set of tokens that will go into our foundation, our treasury, and our strategic reserve. Those will be held. We're not going to be using them until at a future date. We want to see some real strength in the token before we start using the token as leverage, whether it's in a partnership or in pursuing an investment. But that will give us a strong foundation, which is what will be honest with you guys. Right now, we don't have that foundation as an entity, other than the fact that we just voted and we're bringing in the reward pool, the current reward pool. If it wasn't for that, Axiom would have been done. It would be gone. There would be we would have to go out to do this. We would have to go out and get other money, other investors, and then we would be beholden to them, which is what you don't want with the DAO. So let's see. So we are going to have a similar aspect to the Galaxy stakes. We haven't really dug into the nuts and bolts of that, but one of the things I'm going to be pushing for possibly is to have these NFTs minted every time you stake. Every time you stake, it mints an NFT, and then you can manage that stake. We want to kind of get away from the nickel and diming perspective that we created on Polygon, trying to generate revenue so we can continue to pay the bills and survive. I mean, that was really the point of it. We've got a whole new structure now, so we don't need to nickel and dime in those areas. And so looking at just having that be an aspect of the project from day one is going to be kind of critical. And whether we do that in the beginning. So now here's the thing, and I want you guys to always remember this. Should the community decide they don't want those being done automatically for free, we can have a proposal. We can go through, we can review the proposal. We can put the proposal up for vote. And if everybody decides that that's something we should sell, then that's what we will do. And as such, the accelerator will continue to play a significant role in how we manage things moving forward, at least until we have other models in place or it's minted out, and we kind of go from there. How am I doing, guys? Everything sound pretty clear so far? Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
Yeah, all good.
Claiming process. I wrote this out. Squeezing lemons on Polygon and drinking lemonade on Base. There's going to be a liquid claim, and there's going to be 2 stake claiming options. Claiming for DAO membership or interest and rewards will require KYC. We are going to be doing a whitelisting process. Now, for those of you who participated in our launches, like the last 3 launches we did, you'll remember in order to do that, you had to do a KYC with your, and it would match your Ethereum address with who you were. And the team didn't have access. We still don't have access to that whitelisting information, just so you know. So we're going to be looking at doing that internally. And because if you are a member or an owner of an organization, people should know who you are. Now, that's not going to be publicly doxed or KYC'd. It will be held in the back end of our system, but especially if we're going to get to where we're paying out rewards and interest, it's going to be an important feature that we include in the process. You do not have to dox to withdraw your tokens. We have 2 options. So when you claim your liquid, we're going to be looking at this like like launching a brand new project. So when you claim your liquid, you'll have 12% available on day 1 and then 8% a month for a year. So what we're doing, and this is really critical, is we want the project to have the best chance of succeeding as possible. And so we're creating we're going to be creating ways that we can have buy pressure in that first month, and not just be sell pressure. So just like a new token launch where you've got vested tokens, that's how we're gonna manage this vesting. We are gonna put these things up to be for vote to be ratified, and there may be a few options in there, but this is we've really kind of gone through a lot of conversations to come to this conclusion. The biggest fear is, and it's also because you're going to be able to claim your tokens in perpetuity. 6 months from now, you're going to be able to claim your tokens. A year from now, you're going to be able to claim your tokens. 5 years from now, you're going to be able to claim your tokens. So if you walked away from DeFi and then you come back, you're going to be able to claim your tokens. And what we don't want is to have those people come in, claim their tokens just to dump them. So it's not just about those who are actively engaged in the process now coming over to Base. It really has to do with the fact that if we're going to be hitting all of those success points, and if we're going to be hitting all of those milestones, and we're going to be building something that has value, has revenue, has rewards, has interest, and we have a token that's seeing appreciation, that we have, we're going to have tons of reasons why to stake, then we want to protect that as people wake up and go, ooh, I own Axion. Wow, it's at $1. Who knows, right? So what we don't want is them claiming 1 million tokens and then dumping them on the market. So so that's why that process is there. So there would be a group claim. That's a whitelisted claim. And we're going to consolidate stakes. So if you have stakes, so any stakes that expire within the next year will actually be combined into your liquid. So we're going to give you access to those those stakes that are going to expire over the next year. Any stakes that go from 1 year to 3 years, we're looking to create one complete 1 year stake. Any stakes that you have that are 3 years to 5 years, we're going to combine those and make them one 3 year stake. And then any stake you have for 5 years and over, we're going to combine those into one 5 year stake. So with that, we're getting away from this 5-5-5-5 15-year stakes. And now holders can expect to be able to withdraw those in 5 years. And there's one other caveat. Did I put it in here? No, it's coming up. There's one other caveat that we're going to be adding to this to bring some value to how we're going to manage our stakes. And I think that's in the next slide. You'll be able to claim your stackers and your phoenixes. We're still going to be maintaining those. All other NFTs will stay on Polygon. And then one of the features we're looking to include is that when you claim your stakes, you can actually have them sent to a new wallet. So now here's where this is going to be really valuable for some people. Let's say you had a compromised wallet or a hacked wallet. It might be possible if those stakes never got rugged by whoever had access to your wallet on Base, we will be able to use that wallet address. We'll have a system in place where you can test it, make sure that you can do this, but you'll be able to claim those stakes that have been sitting there that you thought were lost, and we will be we'll be moving them to a new wallet. So, and we'll get into that a little bit more. That'll be broken down in our white paper, in our documents, and on our website. We will walk you right through that process. And then we're looking at ledger support as well. Last I checked, Base is still not an option on Ledger, which that just makes me, I don't get it. I've actually been able to access my wallet address on Base, but if you're really a true Ledger maxi, then you're not going to like how that might work. So we are working on solutions. We're going to be looking at that. So if you have stakes on your Ledger, then we'll be looking at ways that you'll still be able to claim it on Base, either temporarily send it to a different wallet address, or be able to interact with it even though it's on Base. So we'll see. I learned that the hard way not too long ago with another project that did an airdrop on Base, but I was holding them my wallet address wasn't on Base. So anyway, it was a mess. I finally got I finally captured them, but yeah. I need to make sure I got to check something. We'll go back to it if I have to. So one of the things we're looking at doing, this will go up for a vote. We'll make sure this is ratified. But for the first 6 months, we're going to have 0 fees associated with claiming your tokens. After 6 months, there may be a small fee to claim your tokens. We might adjust. We might start out lower. And it might even be based on, like token value. In the second year, it would be $100 fee. Third year, $200 fee. And really, this is about is let's just imagine a world where Axion hits $1, right? And someone goes, wow, and they have, a couple million, once all the calculations are done, they still have 250,000 Axion tokens. What we don't want to happen is have them come in and just claim and drop and dump. So all of these mechanisms are in place to protect the project over an extended period of time. And so you can see all the way up to 5 years. And then once we hit 5 years, but again, these can be revisited. If they're too high, we can put it up for vote to bring them down. But also we're going to include a petition so that you can request a waiver. So let's say your portfolio isn't worth $500. we're not going to charge you $500 so that you get nothing. You would fill out a waiver. We would take a look at it. And if the council decides that, yeah, we'll waive that, then we'll either whitelist that address, or we'll make it possible for them to withdraw without having to worry about that fee, whether it's reimbursement or whitelisting. And then we're going to have stats for this, stats for that. One of the things we're going to have is a stat for as people are claiming their tokens, we'll have a stat that shows how much can be claimed and how much has been claimed. I'm still of the opinion that even within the first couple of years, I don't think we will have 30% of them claimed. So we'll have to see how that goes. And again, like was said earlier, if you have questions as I'm going through this, post them in here. I will go back through these questions, and then we'll be answering those questions once we get there. Staking is DAO ownership. DAO ownership. We have ownership and we have membership. So we are going to be kind of clarifying this a little bit. So ownership in the DAO comes with entitlements. Okay. If you are staked in the Axion DAO, there are things that you are entitled to. You're going to be entitled to an interest return. You're going to be entitled, can't even think. You're going to be entitled to the interest. And sorry, I'm like, I know there's a second thing. You're going to be entitled to interest, and you're going to be entitled to rewards. So if the DAO makes an investment and that investment starts returning a significant yield, and that goes back out to the DAO members, then those rewards will be, you're entitled to those because you are staked in the DAO. But being staked in the DAO doesn't necessarily mean you're actually a member of the DAO. And we'll get into that more. But matured stakes, this is one of the things that we're kind of shooting for, is matured stakes will actually continue to earn interest. We consider stakes to be a minimum. You're setting a minimum amount of time that you're going to be staking. There will be early withdrawal penalties that will still apply. Won't be as aggressive as they are on Polygon. I think Polygon goes all the way up to like 90%, and it takes forever for it to even come down. So we might start that at like 46% and have a sliding scale. But these are still things that we're vetting out, and we'll probably have a vote for. But nothing. So none of these items will restrict us from building and completing the project, because they're just going to be percentages or numbers that we can update in contracts. So that'll be simple. But if you're a member, what we'd really like to do is make it so that you can withdraw your interest every month. So as you accumulate interest, you'll be able to withdraw that interest or compound it back into your stake. But that's a membership benefit. That's not an entitlement. So if you're not a member, then your stake is still good. Your stake still earns interest, and you still get rewards, but you won't be able to access any of that value until the stake has matured. And so there's going to be a few more things that we kind of include in this process. But when, and this is kind of important. So if you are a brand new person coming to Axion, or you're one of the people doing a claim, the first year membership is included. So you don't have to pay an annual due to be a part of the DAO if you're a first-time staker. And basically, everybody on base is going to be a first-time staker. So that pretty much covers everything. So we're not going to have quote-unquote dues for at least a year, and that will be outlined. We will articulate that and present that to be ratified as well as a vote. So we do still have more voting to come, but nothing that will change, at this point, nothing that will prevent us from building out the ecosystem. So this is the whole DAO ownership versus membership, entitlements versus benefits. So DAO ownership, you earn interest for as long as your stake is active, and you share in DAO revenue based on ownership of the pool. DAO membership will be governed by NFTs. They will be required to vote. So if you want to vote in the DAO as a member, then you will need to be a quote unquote member, not just an owner. And how this works is, you think about this in traditional finance. Just because I own stock in Apple doesn't mean I can vote on Apple. You have to have a certain amount of Apple stock, and you have to have a Series A or whatever series they have determined is their voting stock. So, so we're going to do something very similar in that you need to be an active member, a participating member, in order to participate in voting or withdraw your monthly interest. And there's some other benefits that we will be laying out as we move forward. If you're a member of the DAO, anytime we set up a new partnership, there's going to be benefits for members of the DAO, as opposed to benefits that come for just being an owner of the DAO. Does that kind of fit? Does that fit right? Make sense to you guys? Okay. I got crickets here, guys.
Sorry, I'm on mute, so I don't randomly cough whilst you speak. Yes, you're making lots of sense, Metal, and I'll try not to speak into a muted mic again.
Sweet. Okay, so I'll keep moving. What time do we got? Oh my God, we're pushing an hour, guys. Okay, and I knew this was going to happen. This is why we're doing half now and half next week, because there's still so much more to unpack. And we might go over a little bit and answer some questions. I do like to keep these to an hour. So at the very minimum, we can tell people the information doesn't take 2 hours to figure it out. So in part 2, we're gonna be talking about the planned NFT promotions and outreach programs. We're gonna do some engagement farming. We're going to talk about some of the revenue generation that we're looking at to expand our footprint in DeFi. We will be, time permitted, we'll be talking about our investment clubs and how they will reshape the future of fundraising as we legitimize that process in the United States. And we'll be talking about ways that we're going to be reigniting our community partners program. We are going to be rebuilding our launchpad. So, but I would say both. There's a couple things here that we might have to reserve for a third presentation, but I'm also going to be putting out a series of articles on all of these points. And of course, we have a massive data tree of information that we will be compiling to create our support documents and our white papers and everything else. So, and we are documenting this process. I've said this so many times. Not sure if I am a little elusive in that, but I think I'm going to kind of step out of the elusive side of this. I'm documenting this entire process to be compiled into a book, and it's gonna go over the entire history of Axion, everything that it's going to talk a lot. It's going to be the primary purpose of the book is going to be to expose people who don't know about DeFi to DeFi. So this will be a published work. So I am documenting this process. I'm interviewing people from the past. We've got participation from our current team, and I've already started that process as well. So I'm really actually kind of excited about that. Didn't ever think my first book was going to be on DeFi, but so be it. And we're going to be going over the purpose of the DAO. So I think that's it. Wow, and we did it in 54 minutes. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to read back through some of these comments, see if there's any questions. Like I said, we are going to have another live stream next week, and we'll be going over. We might just be very specific to the promotion stuff and leave some of the other technical things to another presentation. But I'm also now that I am full-time now with Axion. I put in my notice at the paper, and that has wound down. They just talked me into staying on as advisor for another couple of weeks, but that's it. Yeah, I'm changing careers, guys, and this is going to be a legacy project for me. I'm really looking forward to this, and we're going to build some amazing things as we move forward. We've got some very awesome, exciting ideas that we've been cooking up in the background, and as those things come out, everything we're doing right now is going to make perfect sense, because ultimately we are staging the Axion DAO to be a legitimate fundraising tool for DeFi. And if I have my way, I am working with our attorney, and we have chatted about, some legislative ideas, and I've got a long list of legislative ideas that I want to take to our legislators for next year. So I'm going to be playing a role in that process on behalf of and representing Axion. So seriously, we've got some amazing things coming up. So I'm going to read through these real quick. I think I answered this, but we're going to go back through it. So what happened to the 555 investments people made some years ago? They're still there. They're still there. If you haven't been on Polygon to see your stakes, you'll just need to add the Polygon Network RPC, and go to the DApp, and you can see all your stakes, all there, and they will be. And here's the thing: I don't think I hit this. So when we migrate all of those stakes and combine them over on Base, drum roll, we're going to be migrating them over at their matured value. Why? Because that's how the contract actually reads now. A lot of people didn't realize this or don't know this, but the minute you make a stake in the accelerator, we know the future value. What you see showing up on the DApp is breaking it down and slowly making that number go up. But when that stake was made, we know that final number. So your 15-year stakes will be calculated at maturity over on Base. So benefit, right? And yeah, let's see. Okay, we've got another question. What happens to the interest earned on stakes? I think we answered that pretty well throughout this. I don't know that I could clarify that anymore. Current interest being earned. It's 8% right now for your for most of your stakes. I missed the beginning, but have enjoyed. Well, thank you. Appreciate the. Was the ratio to current tokens being held and what will be given already mentioned? I don't know at this point. So yeah, we did discuss the ratio, and we'll actually be putting out. We'll have a calculator on the website. You can put in what you have on Polygon, and you'll be able to see what you're going to be able to claim on Base. There you go. That answers that question. What happens to existing interest owned on stakes? You're going to get your stake retooled, combined with your other stakes if you have multiple stakes on Base at their maturity value. So that's actually, so you're going to be interest on top of interest, basically. But with the new tokenomics, it's more than built into the overall economy, if you will. All right. I don't see any other big questions, and we're nailing it right at the top of the hour. I don't want to just cut it off and say goodbye, but guys, if you guys have any thoughts you want to contribute, and in the meantime, guys, if you have questions, go ahead and throw a question up here. I am now watching it in real time as opposed to just going back through it, but that's in a nutshell.
I think you did a great job of explaining, 6 months worth of hard work in about 45 minutes. It's so much has gone on behind the scenes to get to this point, so much work, which I've been a small part of. And I think, you gave a succinct and comprehensive overview. Of course, the devil's in the details, but the details are to be figured out by the entire community over the coming weeks. And that's another really exciting part of this, is that everyone that wants to be a part of this journey gets the opportunity to be a part of this journey.
We've got a special guest. Hey, Jubbin.
Hello,
Can
hello.
you hear me? Hey, there's that voice. Right? Missed you. Yeah, we can hear you.
Good to be back.
Jubbin. Everybody remembers Jubbin. So, over the last couple of years, I want to share this with the community. Over the last couple of years, Jubbin has been there, just hanging out in the back. There have been several things where he's helped me navigate things on Discord, helped with some of the signatures on contracts and different things. But as life would have it for most of us, had to go get a real job and had to go carve out a real, a real path there. But we have been talking more and more as we ramped up to this point, and very excited to let everybody know that Jubbin is back with the team and will be building. In fact, he's going to be helping me build the website. We're going to be tightening up security on our Discord even more, and introducing some more features into Discord. And I know Jubbin's going to be able to help us. But say hey, bud. Everybody else said hey. How you doing, man?
Doing well. Like I said, happy to be back. Happy to get back to the grind on Axion. Obviously, we got plenty of stuff to work on, plenty to get right, but we got the team to do it. So,
yep, yeah, we do. I really feel that as well, and I'm excited to have you kind of stepping back into that more active role as we move forward. So we've got some really good things planned out. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and just kind of go around the room. Big Bear, any last parting thoughts? Can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yes, we can. That's perfect. Oh, no, you cut out. No.
No, I mean, you did a great job of explaining everything. Obviously there was a lot of information in those slides, and people can sort of. Are you going to post the presentation up so people can go through the slides, or at a later time?
Yeah, I will. I'll put a link in the bottom.
Perfect. No, I mean, just to reiterate, Jubbin's OG like me. I don't. He might have even actually been into the Discord before me. I think he was. But Jubbin's
he had to. He had to. He created it.
Oh, true. So he's been there since day one. I mean, life happens. We ebb and flow. We're here, then we're not here. We're here, then we're not here. And as James said, Jubbin's always been around to some degree in the background, And he's stepping out of the shadow to become more prominent and working closer with the team and the project. As am I. I'm more of a background guy myself. I'm an ideas person. I like to spitball things and throw ideas into the ring, and then through the Mastermind Council, we're gonna sort of sort through things and come up with the best possible ideas that we can present to the team, and obviously after that to the community, to really flesh out this ecosystem. This isn't we gotta walk before we run, and we really, like I said earlier, we really want to make sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed, and we don't haphazardly throw something into the ecosystem that is going to have a high likelihood of breaking or not lasting. Not to say that we're always going to get it right 100% of the time, but we are a community, and there's different facets of the community. The Mastermind Council and the team are obviously two of those. But yeah, just excited to finally be at this point where the countdown is on, and a lot of the discussions that we've had over the last 6 months to a year are finally starting to get traction. Like James said to me earlier today, the rubber is going to hit the road, and I'm excited to see how this all plays out. Super excited to be part of the journey, and I hope everybody enjoys it just as much as we do.
Absolutely. Cece, any thoughts? I do have a question here. I want to go. You can think, if you think about what you want to say here real quick. But did it?
Yeah, you're right, James. I'm just answering John's question. He's an OG in the space, by the way. John Atkins. He's asking, will there be an idiot's guide? As he's not followed for a long time. I mean, I'll get quite a lot of DMs from OGs, believe it or not, asking us moving from have they got to do anything, basically? So are their tokens going to be completely transferred over to Base? Have they got to do it themselves? Just a simple, maybe 5-step process of, right, you got to do this, you got to do that. So nearer the time, I will do a step-by-step guide. But
and we will have a very, very good, solid, rich, step-by-step process that you will go through as you go through it, that you can use in your video. So yes, the answer to that is we are going to hold your hand all the way through that process. So we're going to make sure that when we say go here, that you don't have to do all this reading and all this research to understand the process as you go. So to answer that question, there will be an idiot's guide. Having come into DeFi as an idiot myself, that's actually something that's really kind of important to me. In fact, just about everything will be, when you come to our main website, you're going to be a returning member button. There will be a join the DAO button. There will be a learn more about the DAO button. And then there will be a button that says go to the DApp. And every step along the way, when it comes to something that you need to actually do, there will be a walkthrough guide, or it will walk you through as you do it. So that's going to be critical.
Yeah, I think the most important thing is as long as everybody understands that this will not, I repeat, will not be an airdrop type situation. It will be a claim process, and everybody will be minting their own tokens.
Yes, and that will be through the AxionDAO.com or the Axion.net website. So please, there are going to be scammers out there. We already know it. I've already deleted at least 3 or 4 people trying to impersonate me over the last 4 or 5 months. So there will be scammers. There will be people trying to convince you that you have to act right now and do it right now, because tomorrow you're not going to be able to, and they're going to try to do everything they can to get you to fumble the ball. And I'll tell you now, it will be very simple. It will be very clear. You will know you're on the right website when you go there. It'll be AxionDAO.com or AxionDAO or Axion.network. So That's a very, very critical that you don't fall. Please go, someone says do this, go find out if that's what you're supposed to do. There's going to be other information about that. Don't just take it from one post or from one person. So let's see. That's a good question. I am going to be incorporating TikTok and what's the other one? We're going to be incorporating a couple of other social media accounts.
Look at CapCut Metal before you do that, and I'm sure like the guys at Meta Rides will say the same thing. But if we're looking for vertical content, the short reels, whatever else they're called on different platforms, then CapCut is one of the easier tools for people to use, where it can be multi-platform almost instantaneously. You don't need to do a huge amount of work to make it available on other platforms.
And we are going to be doing explainer videos. So I'm going to actually be doing little mini videos about each of these little things as well. And we're going to have an Axion University. So we're going to be going over all the foundational aspects of DeFi, wallet, creation, peer-to-peer transact, all of these things that we take for granted now because we've been doing this for 4 or 5 years. Some of us longer, 9, 10. Yes, we will be. In fact, I want to implement an earn to learn, so that by the time you're done going through that little Axion, the Axion University, you can claim your first stake in the DAO once you've gone through that university, and we'll have a claim process. It won't be a whole lot, $20, $30 worth of Axion. I don't know, but it'll go into a stake. But then you'll be able to pull your interest every month if you're a member of the DAO, right? So, we are definitely going to be branching out into other ways to market the project. And if you have if you have suggestions or if you have skill set, hit me up in Discord and we can have a chat. And because what I've learned here recently is I can do a lot of things, but I can't do everything. If there's 20 things to get done, I'll get 14 of them done. The other 6, someone else is going to have to step up and help out with. But so would love, any insight or suggestions you might have, hit me up in Discord. See, what does it say? Okay, just chatter. That's just chatter. I think. Let me make sure before I dismiss it. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wow, that was that was too fast. I can't talk any faster, guys. I don't know how we're going to get all of this out. Well,
I'm just going to jump in. I'm just going to jump in on that very quickly, Matt. I think like trying to work on presentations that you can deliver in half an hour that then leave 10 minutes introduction, 20 minutes sort of wrapping up with any questions. And I know we've gone over that slightly today, but I think if that's the goal for any time we're trying to deliver this, like any messaging in a presentation that can be delivered within 30 minutes is the way to do it. And then we can expand in other places as and when we need to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's hard to do that. I think because right now we're trying to get the bulk of the information out. So, but yeah, I think moving forward, I'll be taking these slides and just doing a little. We might do some snippets of these slides and put them out. But again, it's all time. The most valuable thing we have in life is our time, and so and it's the least resource abundant commodity that we have. Okay. Hey, what's up, Toga? Welcome to the stream. I'm gonna say we can probably call it. I am Jubbin, anything you would like to kind of any parting thoughts you'd like to share?
I just love the overall timing of both of us being able to go back full time on Axion and throw all of our focus towards it. and I'm excited to do that. I'm excited to see how all of our different DAO votes and the community input go moving forward into base, but it's exciting.
It is, and there's still more to come. So I appreciate it. Looking forward to it. Appreciate your comments, guys. Hey, I will chalk this up as another success and recap really quick. So we're starting the actual 90-day countdown on the 7th, or no, on the 10th. On the 10th, and we will be having another live stream. And we'll be going over, and maybe next week we're just going to pick one aspect of what we're going to be doing for promotion and not try to get it all out. So I'll reconsider this, because I want these to be something that people can come to and enjoy, and they know they don't have to go through a bunch of metal rambling on like I am now. Yeah, so we'll have our live stream next Thursday. That will commence the actual 90-day countdown. You have until the 7th to claim any rewards you might have that are outstanding. And then we'll be closing the reward contract. We will do a slight update to the accelerator on Polygon so that it's no longer capturing those funds into that wallet. And then, which we've had very, very, very minimal activity on the project since we really started going down this road. But there may be some reasons to get excited before we go to base coming up, to kind of help reinvigorate, that momentum before we actually do the migration. So tune in next Thursday. Be sure to claim your Bitcoin rewards. If you've got colliders, go out and play with them, burn them to the ground. We do have a very significant library of colliders that we're going to be giving away over the next 90 days to get people to start interacting with the protocol now, and then we'll have them, because now if you have a collider, if your collider hits, it's a 1-year minimum. It creates a stake. And those are going to go over to base, and you'll automatically be a member. So yeah, some great things coming up, and just stay tuned. I'm not going to do our normal outro. In fact, I need to redo our intro so it matches where we're at today. I always love that intro. It just, that the music and everything kind of gets me pumped up. So I always include that, but I'm going to go in and update that so it's reflected of what we're doing now. So we can keep that video with new wording and new purpose. And I guess from that, that's it, guys. So we're going to go ahead and call it a show.
All right. Thanks as always, James. Fantastic.
Yeah, thanks, James. Thanks, guys.
Good job, James.
Cheers, guys. Have a great rest of your days.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
too.
You
QCC.
as well.
Oh, and join us tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the This Is Not a Shield show. That's all I'll say. Cheers.